I was also impressed by the variety of the approaches, method, not just the standard philological approach. Well, I could not read it, but I was intrigued by the discussion on the corpus Platonicum, the whole discussion on the dialogues and the chronological order and dogmatic and non-dogmatic. And somebody is here, I think, who just present, I don't know who is, yeah. So you have the traditional philological approach, you have analytical approach, but some people are doing hermeneutical reading or doing it with Foucault and Lacan, quite different. So a variety of approaches. And then I was also impressed by, that's not just studies on Plato, but on the presence of Plato and Platonism throughout the history of philosophy. There is Hegel in it, there is Renaissance philosophy, there is even Wittgenstein in it, I've seen. And there's also quite interesting, not the reception of Platonism, but the parallelism between Platonism and Indian philosophy. And I've seen at the end there was even an in memoriam of a famous Sanskrit author who also has a place in this book on Platonism. So I went through the summaries and said, well, I would like to read on being and the one, and the author is defending the position that maybe the one is not really epikeina as Proclus understands it well, or on ousia and on is this, I don't know if it's yours, is it yours? The question whether we should read this in the existential or the whole discussion, essential or existential or predicative understanding of being, one of the great problems on Platonism. There's of course on the theory of the forms, there is, well, so let's say classic articles on the interpretation of Plato. Then on the reception of Platonism in Renaissance, Hegel, Wittgenstein mentioned it already. And of course I have a particular interest to see what was done on Neoplatonism, because I'm myself in Neoplatonism. There was an article with the title, The Discovery of Proclus. I said, what could that be, the discovery of Proclus? And then having read the summary, then there is that famous passage in the Vita Procli by Marinus, who said, well, you know, my master Proclus, he had some original ideas. And then he gives one example of an original idea. And it's such a weird example to say, is this the only thing original in Proclus? So you're all surprised. Well, the author of this article on Proclus, I hope she is here tonight. No, well, I met her yesterday, has given us a clue on the mystery, what's that new discovery of Proclus. There is, of course, an article on Plotinus in it, on Plotinus and time. I read in summary, but we had a discussion with Valerie yesterday on his interesting reading of Dionysius, the Areopagites, his text in the ecclesiastical hierarchy on the Eucharist, where Dionysius is using, and you can see, and there's a very nice parallel, I've seen it in your text, he is using the Phaedrus of Plato, the famous, of course, the Panilody, where it's about the ascent of the soul, and the vocabulary, I'm really convinced you're right, Dionysius is using Plato's Phaedrus to describe the Eucharist. It's incredible, but that's... So there are articles on Gregory of Nyssa, on Palamas, and then of course there is a very long section in your volume on Russian Platonism, and not just Russian Platonism, but something I did not know, that there was a very important Gnostic Platonism in Russia. I've been through the summaries, and well, some people in Western Europe always have difficulties in understanding the Russian mind or whatever. Well, maybe you don't know that there are Gnostics in the Russian tradition, and sometimes maybe you could say that the difference between Eastern and Western Europe could be Plato versus scholastic Aristotelianism. But then Gnostic Plato, no, I'm joking about, but it's quite interesting, and I had the pleasure to participate in a conference 2 days ago on Karsavin, and Karsavin is of course a representative of this Russian Platonism in a certain sense. So was quite impressed. And there is, of course, another thing was Plato and aesthetics. Now, sorry for making this very superficial comments on a book I did not read, but I'm just browsing through the summaries at the end, as a professor sitting in a doctoral dissertation and he has no time and he starts by reading at the end to see what's in the book. Well, there was one title, I will finish with this title. It's an extraordinary title, at least in English. I don't know how it sounds in Russian. But if I come back and my colleagues in Leuven will ask me how, somebody made jokes about that, are you going to improve the relations East-West in this, political tension of the moment? I said, no, I'm just doing philosophy. But now I'm reading a title, and this is a very political title, my friends. Plato and Politics. I read you the title. The Theory of Ideas and the Continentalist Geopolitics of the Eurasians and Plato. This sounds to me very political, but I don't know if it's political. Continental geopolitics, Eurasians, and Plato, and all in the theory of ideas. Wonderful. I don't know who is the author. He may be present here. Is he sitting there? Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. Oh, I forgot to mention that there is also, as I've seen, and I had a discussion yesterday with the other interview on perfectionism and Plato on the good, and how the good is what, well, yes, he bought the ticket. No, the other interview. So, thanks for being here together with you, and congratulations on this new book.